Welcome to Lowe's Motor Speedway, affectionately nicknamed the Beast of the Southeast. Since most of these teams are headquartered within a 20-minute drive of the track, everyone comes here hoping to protect the home turf. And as we saw back in May, that can get just a little bit dicey. Caution for the 11th time tonight.
I'm guessing that contact on the racetrack was not accidental.
Denny knocked a fender off his car. I'm not happy about that.
83 looking out for his teammate, not going to take it. They're mixing it up down in the pits there. Somebody's going to punch somebody.
For some reason, he picked my back tires up in the middle of 1 and 2, pulled up beside me, so I retaliated.
He doesn't like when guys race him hard. Well, that's the sport. And I raced him hard, and he didn't think that was cool, so he decided to take my left front fender off.
You throw a rock, I'm going to throw a concrete block back.
Her brand's chances of having a good run, but it just tore the fender up. I mean, there was no excuse in it.
Don't impress me by having your whole crew over here. Bring the driver over here and let us talk about it.
Brad Keselowski showed the passion and fire of a young driver, and he'll need it now these final 5 races because he's going to have to somehow climb back into the points contention. Carl Edwards 196 points back of Clint Bowyer with just 5 events remaining. In qualifying, everyone's goal is to win the pole, but just how important is it to start up front here at Lowe's Motor Speedway? Here's Dave Burns.
Well, Doc, the fastest car in the practice today, the final practice for Nationwide Series, was this one right here. It belongs to Carl Edwards, the 60 car. But is that where you want to be, the fastest car in qualifying? Well, it started out well at this racetrack years ago. The first 22 races, the pole sitter won the race 7 times. In the last 31, however, only once has the winner of the pole gone to victory lane. We'll see how Carl and actually a bunch of other cars do. We have over 50 cars scheduled to qualify here today. Let's go to Jamie Little.
David, it is a big field, very stacked field. 23 cars must qualify on time today. One of those cars being Kyle Busch in the 18. Yes, this is the team that's won over half of the races they've entered, but the problem is they haven't entered all of the races, so they're outside of the top 30. Now, I talked to the team this morning. They're a bit concerned because yesterday in their only practice, they had a motor problem, so they spent all of today's only 1-hour practice trying to fix the problem. They didn't get a mock qualifying run, so when it comes to speed today, they have no idea what they have under the hood. Kyle Busch, 52 other drivers looking to set that 43-car field coming up next on NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying.
We welcome you live to our ESPN coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying from Lowe's Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. Cars are lined up and set. 51 of them will go out to qualify for 43 starting spots. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, along with Dale Jarrett and Andy Petrie. We are so glad to have you with us. You know, everyone says this mile-and-a-half racetrack looks simple, but drivers will tell you it is very, very tricky. Guys, what are the do's and don'ts of a good qualifying lap here?
Well, you have to get out and make a good lap, and you have to go extremely hard, but you have to really be careful with what you're doing out there. What we've seen in the past here, because they have qualifying in the afternoon, this is an impound race, they'll race later on tonight, is that you have to really concentrate on not overdriving this corner. You want to go hard, but if you get into the corner too hard on this slick racetrack this afternoon, we've seen a lot of these guys lose it, and that's whenever they create a lot of problems.
And one of the don'ts is don't let your car get loose. I mean, if you're setting these cars up for qualifying, you want to make sure that you've got the car tight. You hear about pushing a lot of times during the race and the car gets tight. You want it tight for qualifying, because if you get loose, you can wreck the car real easy here, and if you don't wreck, it's really going to kill your time. So you really have to have a car that's tight enough to run fast.
So you want to be fast, but be careful.
Yeah,
how do you do that?
Yeah.
It's hard to do. I remember Ken Schrader told me I can either go real, real fast or be real, real careful. Which one do you want?
And we got some real, real good drivers that are going to go out and see what they can get done here. We got lots of motorsports coming your way. NASCAR Sprint Cup Happy Hour coming up 6:30 Eastern Time. Then live coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series tonight at 7:30. NASCAR Now tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. How about some NHRA action tomorrow at 7 o'clock Eastern Time? And then on ABC at 7 o'clock, Bank of America 500. The chase continues at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Back with live qualifying in just a moment. Our coverage of the NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying is being brought to you by Subway, home of the famous always made fresh $5 foot-long Subway. Eat fresh. And by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy? First car to roll, the car number 7 of Mike Wallace, one of 11 drivers who will be pulling double duty this weekend, driving in both the NASCAR Nationwide Series and Sprint Cup event.
One thing these guys are dealing with right now is the racetrack's got sun on it. And the practice session earlier today, it was basically overcast and the track was nice and cool. So it's going to be different when these guys qualify. And you can see now Mike Wallace gets just a little bit loose getting into 3. He'll be the first to know what the track's like.
Yeah, and you can see kind of struggling up out of the corner there. You don't ever want to go first anywhere, I don't think, and this certainly isn't a racetrack, especially under these conditions. Nothing's been on the racetrack since these guys were on it earlier this morning. And as you said, Andy, it's heated up quite a bit.
Mike Wallace ran a 29.94 in practice. You saw his first lap there was a 30.43, 30.44.
Really not a bad lap, considering everything. I think we're going to see a lot of these guys run 2 laps here as they get these cars up to speed. This isn't like Daytona and Talladega, but still with these spacers that they have on them, they still don't get the car up to speed really as good as they'd like in that first lap.
Mike driving a Toyota here tonight. He'll drive a Dodge tomorrow night for Gillette Evernham. Starts back in 40th in the Cup race. Second lap a little bit slower, so 30.436 seconds his first lap as the first car to go out. Dave.
And Doc, this Mike will be in a Chevrolet, and that's Mike Bliss. And Mike, looking at the sun coming out now, you guys practiced this morning in pretty cloudy conditions. How does this racetrack change for these 2 laps?
It always slows down. This track kind of builds a lot of heat real quick as a blacktop. It'll slow down. I don't think nobody will go as fast as they did this morning. We never really did a run, so I don't know if we'll slow down. But in race gym, we were pretty good. And, we're pretty excited about this car. It's our red car this weekend. It's our owner, James Finch's 500 nationwide race. So we're hoping we can give a good weekend.
It's a big deal, Doc. It's the first thing you notice when you walk up here. The usually black Miccosukee Casinos and Resorts Chevrolet is now all red.
Paying tribute to James Finch, longtime owner in a number of different divisions in NASCAR. Here is Canadian DJ Kennington out. You guys mentioned they're going to qualify in the daytime and race at night, and here are the current conditions.
I expect that track temperature of 105 to go up during this session, and that is quite a bit warmer than it was in the practice session earlier today.
Yeah, if this sun stays out, that could go up as much as 10 degrees easily, and every time that goes up any, then you're going to see these race cars slow down because you just lose grip.
That could actually be an advantage for these early guys that are going out, that the track will be actually cooler for them. Like you say, you never want to be that first guy because you don't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
But it might actually be an advantage for the early cars. Whoa! He's got a problem right here with DJ.
And exactly what you guys said. You try to hustle a car too much and it breaks loose, you're going to hit a tub.
That's the thing. You know, you get these cars too loose and they snap around so fast. You saw that car. DJ didn't even have a chance to save it. It just jumped completely out from under him. It's so hard to run a fast lap here without having that car tight.
Yeah, this wreck started down in the center of the corner, actually ended up hitting later as he kind of exit, but you can see the car get a little bit loose right here, and there's just no saving it at that point.
And everything just looked fine. He got all the way really to the middle of the corner before you saw the car really get sideways.
Yeah, he was a little bit higher on the racetrack than what we saw Mike Wallace. I noticed that in both of his laps. You can see up.
You could hear DJ into the throttle a little bit to try to help save the car to keep it off the wall. He's still driving it while it's going sideways and backwards. You never quit driving the car, do you?
No, you never do. No, you're doing everything you can.
Well, the only good news is he is guaranteed a starting spot by virtue of being in the top 30 in owners' points, but he'll have to go to a backup car. DJ Kennington inside his damaged Dodge. Now back in the garage area. They'll get out and survey the damage. Got to believe that we're all talking backup cars here. They will talk it over and we'll update what they're going to do. I got to believe he did complete one of his 2 laps of qualifying. Here is Casey Kane on the track. Casey, one of 13 drivers who will be doing double duty here tonight and tomorrow night, driving in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. And 6 of those are chase contenders, including our points leader, Jimmy Johnson.
A lot of these guys I guess you might say taking a little bit of a risk going out here and running both of these. I mean, this is a long night too, 300 miles, and then tomorrow night, even though it's at night, it's a little cooler, but still taking a chance.
This will be Kasey Kane's final Nationwide Series start of the year. And if you're a Kasey Kane fan, you know that he's won at least twice in the Nationwide Series the last 3 years in a row, but he has been shut out this year. So he's got one last chance to get to victory lane tonight.
You would think with his success here back in May in the Cup Series, although you see his car wiggle right there, he's going to do one lap, and that first lap was about 1/10 of a second off of what Mike Wallace ran. So he's the second quickest right now of the 3 cars. This you'd think have to be a good chance for Kasey to get to victory lane, but these teams have really been struggling with their Nationwide Series program this year.
Yeah, they were only 28th fastest in practice and actually slowed down on this lap from that. So it's going to be a long night, but Kasey Kane's a great race car driver here. He might be able to bring him up through there.
Tops on the charts right now is Mike Wallace, and Jamie is with him.
Yes, and he's going to be Kasey Kane's teammate on the Cup side of things, but right now you stand at the top of the board. What is it like out there right now? First time we've seen the sun in 2 days, Mike.
Yeah, I'm shocked I beat Kasey. That's surprising to me, but you know, it's kind of a little weird deal to go first here. Charlotte's always been known for heat-sensitive racetracks, and at least that was my excuse for losing 4/10 from what I practiced at today. But all in all, as I was telling you, you know, it's kind of a weird deal because we back up against qualifying against the race. So being an older guy, there's a little bit of experience. My car's in the race. I know I got a great race set up, and I just went out and laid what was a comfortable lap down, and you know, I'm sure it won't stand anywhere in the top 10, but car drives excellent, and we'll be there tonight.
All right, Doc, we keep talking about how many cars are trying to make the field. I think 11 cars going home today.
Exactly, Jamie, and very competitive qualifying. Mike mentioned experience. No one is more experienced in the NASCAR Nationwide Series than this guy, Jason Keller, attempting to qualify for his 453rd career start.
And in just watching this car, I'd have to say that he listened to you and your pre-qualifying deal here about getting his car tight, because that's what this car looks like as he gets down to the center of the corner.
It looks like these guys are really struggling with the racetrack. It doesn't look like it's an easy thing to get these cars qualified today.
This was always so tough. Even when you were here testing or anything, you know, you might practice and test in the morning, and when you came back in the afternoon, it was like you went to another racetrack, just how slick this place could get.
Oh, I know. I used to hear it all the time from the driver. What'd you do to this car? And we didn't do anything. All we did was wait an hour, and now you can't drive it.
30.67, that's slower, about 3/10 slower than what he had run in the final practice session, but that currently puts him third out of the 4 cars that have gone out to make an attempt to qualify.
And I think we heard Mike Bliss say a while ago that he doesn't expect anybody to go as fast, and I think that's a reasonable statement. Even though these guys have qualifying pressures and all of that stuff, the racetrack is so different than what we saw this morning.
Kasey Kane headed back to the garage area to debrief a little bit. Here's the 66 car. Stephen Wallace, the second-generation driver. Stephen was 4th quickest yesterday in the abbreviated practice before the rains came, and then very good again in the final section here before qualifying, so maybe a good lap out of him.
Yeah, so far his car looks pretty good. It's right around the bottom of the racetrack and looks pretty stable so far.
I think we're going to get a good indication of just how fast you can go right here now, and we've actually got a little bit of cloud cover down in turns 3 and 4 right now.
Sometimes that takes just a little bit of time for it to transfer to heat on the racetrack, but you always like to see that cloud come over when it's your turn.
Yeah, it can transfer in the driver's mind, too, that, hey, that thing's already cooling off down there.
Stephen, very much like his dad, known for being very aggressive in attacking the racetrack. And he has done it thus far. He is on the pole with a 30.131 first lap. And trying to get quicker next time by.
Yeah, I'd have thought they might have called him in.
Yeah, I think I would have. It's just so risky out there. We saw DJ Kennedy lose his car.
You can see he lost time right there. He got high coming out of turn 4, and I'm sure that Stephen knew he had a pretty good first lap, and so just kind of eased around there. But a nice lap.
Good job.
Lost a couple of tenths on that second lap as he went high, as DJ mentioned, but right now he
first quick right now, bud.
2-time pole sitter, won both poles a year ago. Still looking for that first win here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Here's the driver that has that first win. Got it in his 3rd start. Joey Lagano got it at Kentucky after sitting on the pole in only his 2nd career start at Nashville. 18 years of age.
Pretty amazing young man. He's watching the car go through Tech. That was the last station before they roll out there to put it on the qualifying line.
There's a guy that was really fast in that morning practice session too, David Stremme, who's a teammate of Stephen Wallace, who just went out and set the fast time right now. Stephen actually only slowed down about 4/100ths of a second from what he practiced, so it'll be interesting to see. David Stremme was second quick in that practice.
Some of these drivers will not run a simulated qualifying run in practice, and those guys will actually run maybe faster, and even with the track slowing down, they could actually run a little faster than they practiced. But overall, the racetrack has lost speed.
He's a little off of his teammates' time, though, so apparently Stevens put down a really good lap.
Dale Ferguson, the crew chief, he's going to tell David about this lap time right here, so I'm sure David will try to run another lap.
David, of course, full-time with Roger Penske in 2009 in the NASCAR Sprint Cup car. Taking over the 12 car.
See David not getting down to the bottom and not, it's like he can't turn the steering wheel here, Andy, so it's probably, he's on that looser side. We mentioned a while ago about a car being tight going up the track, and it's really hard to tell sitting here, but you can just see the way he entered the corner there. It was like he didn't want to turn the wheel because he may be extremely loose.
One of the things these guys will do, they're going to try to get these cars to not push tonight, and so they'll set the cars up fairly free because they can't change a lot of things on these cars from qualifying. So some of the guys like David Stremme might give up just a little bit of qualifying speed to have a good car tonight when it really counts.
One of the drivers that's had a pretty good car the last half of the season is standing by with Dave.
His fourth top 10 came at Kansas just 2 weeks ago, Doc. And Kelly, we're talking about whether you might give up a little here in qualifying to have a better race setup. What do you think?
Well, we didn't do no qualifying practice, so I don't really know. We just worked hard on the hour of practice we got today on race trim, and believe the Samaritan's Feet Ford Fusion is really good. It's a solid top 10 car, if not a top 5 car. So we're kind of just throwing qualifying out. If we do good, it's good. If not, we know we've got a good race car for 300 miles tonight.
And we're hearing that your crew chief, Scott Zipadelli, is going to go shoeless on the pit box tonight?
Yeah, I hope so. That'd be pretty neat. This whole deal with Samaritan Feet is a really cool deal, and the people there that run this deal are amazing. So the guy's walking 300 miles barefoot from Lowe's Motor Speedway to Atlanta, in the next 15 days, and I mean, that's incredible. So we're just hoping we can get this Samaritan's Feet forward in victory lane tonight.
The object, of course, is to put shoes on the feet of children who don't have them, Doc.
What a great cause, and they want to be able to put 10,000 or 10 million shoes on 10 million young people. Now, what's an incredible endeavor there. Here's the one car you heard us mention, the 500th anniversary for James Finch. That's the 500 on the hood. It was a surprise. He didn't know they were painting the car that way till he got to the racetrack.
Yeah, the guys painted the car red just to kind of, commemorate his 500th start. Surprised him when he got here and he got to see it. It's a good-looking car. Nice paint scheme. Yeah, might even think about doing this more often.
Yeah, it does look really good. And that thing's turned. I don't know if the paint scheme's making it turn, but you can see he's quitting now. Mike's
it turned too good.
Like he was a little bit too loose.
Mike won this race back in 2004. In fact, that was his last win here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Well, Clint Bowyer's coming up, our points leader. And how about the guys on 1.5-mile racetracks? You see Clint Bowyer got the best average finish of those that are going to be here as a factor tonight. Points leader Clint Bowyer on the track for his qualifying effort, and we are being told that in the practice sessions he did not tape up and do any kind of mock qualifying. As you guys mentioned, it is an impound race, so whatever they qualify, they got to start the race with tonight.
Well, this is a guy that's trying to win a championship. He's more concerned how that car is going to drive tonight, but it looks like he's running pretty good in qualifying right here.
Boy, he's pretty good so far. The greens, it's going the right direction here. Getting better as he goes. He's a couple tenths under the pole sitter.
I think it's going to be our first car in the 29-second bracket.
Yeah, he is definitely going to pick up. Oh, 29.84. That's a great lap. They have a cloud cover, quite a bit of cloud cover over the racetrack right now, and Clint Bowyer taking advantage of that. He ran a good 3/10 faster than his practice speed, which is, pretty much showing that he did not make that mock qualifying run in practice.
The second lap's even looking quicker than what his first one was, just by a little bit. Well, he lost a little bit right there.
Yeah, he'll just call it good.
Yeah.
He'll pull it down, and rightfully so after a good first lap. Jamie.
Well, Doc, I'll tell you what, it has really cooled down. The winds have picked up. The cloud came over. You said, oh, no, it's cooled down a lot. What'd you think about your lap, and you think it's good enough for race trim?
Well, I feel like 5-hour Energy Chevrolet Monte Carlo was really good. Our car was really good in race trim today, and I'm kind of surprised about the lap because we were really loose in practice, and we went down there, and the track was definitely slick. I was kind of watching the 81 car, saw him spin out and hit the wall. I did the same thing the first race, so I was really kind of hesitant, and that for sure would be a pretty good, pretty decent starting spot for us, and we're happy that because our race car's running real well. So expect high things out of the 5-hour Energy Chevrolet tonight.
All right, the 66 and the 64, pretty fast in practice, Doc. Maybe a 1-2 punch tonight.
They could be very good here, as indeed Rusty Wallace will be thrilled by that. Here's the 61 car, California driver Brandon Witt.
See, he's struggling already and getting off of turn 2. Lost a lot of speed there, and that's translating to slow speed down the backstretch. He's just trying to get in a good solid lap here.
He's going to be in the race no matter what. You see Doug Taylor there, the crew chief. He's been around a long time. I've seen him in this sport forever.
Doug has won races here with a lot of different drivers. Phil Parsons over the years, Kevin LePage.
Doug was working at Cale Yarborough Motorsports when Cale hired me in 1988, so he's been around a long time.
Doug Taylor and Charlie Schaffner putting this team together and hiring this driver from California. They're California natives, by the way. They want to sort of have an all-California team on the West Coast.
El Cajon, California, right? Isn't there somebody else in there?
Yeah, some guy named Johnson. He's pretty good in Cup, by the way.
That guy.
Yeah. Picks it up a little bit on his second lap, 30.894.
That's faster than he ran in practice, so he picked it up.
Check in with our points leader, Jamie.
Well, you mentioned it, and his crew chief, Dan Deringhoff, told me they didn't make a mock qualifying run. So what did you think you had going out there, Clint?
Yeah, let's hurry up and get this interview done before they knock me off the pole. But we just haven't had much speed all practice, and I've been working on the race trim and was too loose, trying to tighten it up, and it seemed like we went too far, and we just said, let's just go back and regroup and try to tighten it up as much as we could for a qualifying effort, and it was good. I'd like to have been a little bit faster. We got a good help with cloud cover there, but not too bad for the BB&T Chevrolet.
Sit here and watch Jimmy Johnson rolls out. We'll see what he has, Doc.
Let's see what Jimmy Johnson can do. See if you jinxed him there, Jamie. Jimmy Johnson in the 5 car. We mentioned one of 13 drivers doing double duty. He is the current NASCAR Sprint Cup points leader, making his 91st career start here in the Nationwide Series.
And I believe he was one of those guys that worked just on race setup, because we were noticing how far down on the sheet that he was, but I don't think they made a mock qualifying attempt.
Oh, this is a good lap right here. This is going to put him up there, second spot so far.
Second car in the 29-second bracket, 29.980.
That's Cam Strader, the crew chief for Jimmy Johnson's Nationwide car.
Go get him, bud.
So far, Clint's dodged the bullet, but Jimmy's still on the track here. See what he can pull off.
Yeah, he's right on the same pace.
Yeah, it's almost following the first. Whoa, man, that thing got loose right there. We've seen that.
And you see it.
I almost tore it up.
Yeah, you got that right.
Thanks for not. What was it?
Thanks for not. There you go.
All right, Jimmy Johnson qualifies for the 4th time this year. Should be fun. Right now he's on the outside front row beside Clint Bowyer. Back in a moment. 18-year-old Joey Lagano on the clocks now, and this kid is, everyone uses all kinds of terms from phenom to remarkable talent, but he is all of the above. Has already won at Kentucky, has 2 poles.
He's in the green. Yeah, half a tenth better on the backstretch.
Wow. Acting like he knows what he's doing here his first time qualifying.
Right here's what the part of the racetrack that's given a lot of trouble, though, is coming off turn 4. Looks like Joey gets off there excellent. Matter of fact, he starts going even more into the
great lap.
Now this is going to be a really good lap. This might be hard to beat. This is 29.68. That's a great lap.
Apparently he didn't watch us, Doc, at the start where you said this is a tough place to qualify.
He's too young to understand that, I guess, which is a good thing.
I would be calling him in, though, but that's just me. Hard to believe this second lap's going to be fast. Looks like he got a lot of the good out of there. He's going to make it around here and everything will be okay, but a nice lap. Puts him on the pole so far by quite a bit.
Yeah, pole at Nashville, pole at Kentucky.
Water tap. 10. Talk to you in there.
So Joey Lagano trying to get it done on Friday night for the Joe Gibbs Racing Teams. What about the Joe Gibbs guys on Saturday night? As the chase continues, the Bank of America 500 at Charlotte, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Live flag-to-flag coverage beginning with NASCAR Countdown. Alan Bessert, Brad Daugherty, Rusty Wallace. And then we'll be at the halfway point. Who can win it? Can Jimmy Johnson continue to be the master of Lowe's Motor Speedway? Or will one of the Roush Fenway guys step back up?
Hey, right here, you're going to see why I'm not a meteorologist and that I cover sports. I said the track was going to get hotter, and it's getting cooler. We had a big cloud come over, and it stayed over the racetrack now, so you see the track temperatures come down a good 10 degrees.
Yeah, I think I was the one that said it could go up as much as 10 degrees, so, you know, we'll stick with what
we'll stay out of weather.
Kelly Byers, who qualified on the outside front row, we talked about how good this team has gotten the last month and a half. Nearly set on the pole at Dover, had a 5th place finish at Nashville.
Yeah, they've been really impressive what they're doing. A nice lap here, too. 3rd quickest so far.
There's Scott Zipadelli. He's the crew chief that said he was going to call the race barefooted and try to raise awareness for Samaritan's Feet tonight.
He, of course, the younger brother of Greg Zipadelli, the championship crew chief twice over for Tony Stewart in the 20 car.
He's got a little bit better lap right here.
Yeah, he might
right
lose
there,
some there.
It seems like on the 2nd lap they lose so much grip by the time they get to turn 4 that they just can't hold it.
Yeah, you can
from
see
there to the line.
Really trying to arc it in that corner, and it just got away from you. You can see the back end step out just a little.
Your second lap was 97. I'll let you know what the first one was when I get it. I believe they said it was a 94.
Scott Zipadelli said he was going to go shoeless tonight in deference to the World Walk, and he still got him on.
Well, it's not time for the race yet.
Let's check in with Jimmy Johnson. Jamie.
Well, I'm not sure, but I'm judging by the radio. It was kind of a wild ride. What happened, Jimmy?
It was certainly loose, but a good lap the first one, and I felt like it would tighten up for me and I could be more aggressive on the second lap. And I think I was doing better until I got to the center of 3 and 4, and the car got pretty loose. And thankfully, there was just enough room out there on corner exit, so I didn't knock the right side off the car. But we didn't make a qualifying run, so I didn't know how hard to push, nor did we know exactly what to do setup-wise. But I think we're awfully close, and we're going to race great tonight.
Jimmy, it's just the 4th time you get in one of these cars this year. It's in the heat of the chase. You're the points leader now. Why come out and race in this series?
I ask myself that often when I'm running around in 15th in a nationwide race, and then I go out and haul butt in the Cup car. It's tough to not race at home in California for me, and then to come to this racetrack and not be in each race that I can. So that's it more than anything. And Junior Motorsports done a great job building a lot of great race cars, and I still want another trophy. I only have one nationwide trophy as of now, and I'd like to have a second.
All right, he's here because he just wants to race, Doc.
Thank you, Jamie. The pink race car on the racetrack this weekend. We've seen a number of cars that have turned their color schemes over to pink this weekend in deference to a very special month.
Yeah, breast cancer awareness, and a lot of these drivers and teams are making us aware of that. And my association with Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation for many years, and glad to see this. And I know there's a lot of family and friends and people out there in this community that have been affected by this. So great to see these teams participating.
Yeah, in the Cup Series, you got Bobby Labonte in the King Richard Petty's car, and you got the 19 of Elliott Sadler also having pink schemes tomorrow night. Let's check in with Dave.
And checking in with Carl Edwards, who was the fastest car in morning practice. And I threw some stat out there about the pole sitter not doing well in recent races here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. But I think you're probably going to go for it anyway, right?
Well, we're going to go for it. We got this cloud right now, and I don't know if it's going to last, but, you know, there's some guys that are fast. This Winter Guard Fusion is pretty good, though. Drew and the guys did a great job. You know, PK and Jamie, all of them are fast, so, you know, it'll be hard not to go for it at least for one lap and see what happens. This is an important race for us.
Carl's right about the weather. It cooled down a lot, guys, and even spitting some sprinkles down here, too.
There's the cloud that Carl was talking about. DJ, drivers look for those in qualifying.
Yeah, you're just hoping that you can get lucky enough to have one of those. And we have a big cloud cover right now. Of course, we've had rain here off and on for the last 2 days. We David Reutimann on the racetrack right now. But racetrack's probably as good as it's going to get right now.
David, one of those cars that we were talking about, very good in final practice and maybe being a sleeper tonight. I'm not sure if he's that good. You could qualify him, though, as a sleeper.
It's hard to qualify him as a sleeper because he runs good every week. He's fifth quick so far.
30.053, and that's going to be it. One and done for David Reutimann.
Well, most of these guys, a lot of them have tried to run 2 laps, but hardly any of the top guys. Matter of fact, none of the top 10 have actually picked up on the second lap.
Thus far, the quickest car in qualifying is an 18-year-old Joey Lagano in the Joe Gibbs Toyota. Watching and waiting. Nationwide Series qualifying continued. Danny Eflin's gone out for a couple of laps. He picked it up second time by. Puts him right now 15th of the cars that have gone out. Let's visit with our current pole sitter, Jamie.
And Joey Lagano just telling me he used to race right here on the infield in a Legends car, but never been here in a NASCAR stock car. So your first run, qualifying run, do you think it'll stick?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. You know, pretty loose for me. But I hear that a lot of people right now. So I don't know. The old Farm Bureau insurance car was faster though. I'll take that. I think we unloaded pretty good today, and you know, with Doug Hewitt crew chiefing, and I think we got something to work with today again. We've kind of gone back to the old school roots of what we had before, and so far it's paying off. We'll see what Carl, I think, will be pretty fast. I think Ray gonna be pretty fast too. So if we get through those two, I think we'll be okay. There might be a few other out there.
All right, he's going to stand right here and keep his eye on the competition. Doc.
Jamie, David Reagan was 4th quickest in that final practice, and people were saying he would be a car to watch, and boy, he had his hands full a moment ago.
Well, yeah. If you look right here, I mean, he was actually just a little bit faster than Joey Lagano coming off that turn 2, but boy, he paid the price on the late exit.
Man, yeah, his first lap, I'm not sure if his car bottomed out and shot him up the racetrack, or if it was just that loose when he got down in there and almost wrecked. But
it might have been that extra speed. It might have just been more than the track would hold.
But he's picked it up here and made a nice recovery for his second lap.
That recovery will put him all the way up to 5th quickest with a 29.98. Jack Rouse able to shake his head and walk away, but it was almost hold your breath a moment ago. Watch this entering turn 1.
Let's see if we can see any sparks here if this thing happens to bottom out right here.
It's a nice entry, just really loose. Boy, you see him just chasing the car big time.
He had the wheels turned right when he got to the center of the corner. That's usually not a good thing.
No.
Let's check in with Brad Kozlowski. Dave.
Yeah, Jerry, he's getting ready to qualify now. The 88 car did not take a mock run earlier, so what do you expect out of it now? Your first time all taped up and ready for a qualifying run.
Well, with the cloud cover, man, I think we can knock off a good lap here. Like to get down in the 29s. I think we can do that. But it's great. U.S. Navy Chevrolet, same car I had here in the spring, and had a lot of fun with it then. So I think from what I saw in practice, we can win the race with this car. So I'm excited about it.
When are we going to see you in a cup attempt next? Because you got rained out this weekend with everything, and I don't think you even got to turn a lap on the track. So when do we think we'll see you again?
Well, I'll be at Texas with the GoDaddy Chevrolet. It was kind of unfortunate, the rain deal, but I know NASCAR is looking into the rules on that for next year and maybe changing something to where the go or go home drivers get to qualify on a different day, or at least so you get a shot, which I think is the right thing to do for the fans and the team. So hopefully that'll be the case.
All right, he's back to business that he knows. The Nationwide Series getting ready to qualify. Doc.
Thank you, Dave. Kevin Harvick on the racetrack. Already had a couple of challenges this weekend and in the garage area. He and Carl Edwards had a few words yesterday.
Yeah, a little dust up down there on the hood of this 33 car. All the witnesses said that one of them wound up on the hood.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a little problem at Talladega. I guess Carl had a little problem with what Kevin Harvick said on TV about the wreck, and they kind of had a little disagreement in the garage about what was said on TV.
And then escalated to a little more than words there yesterday. Boys being boys, I guess.
A little pushing and shoving in the garage. And
here, Kevin Harvick just picked up his second lap now to a 29.84. That's the first of these, really, you know, the top cars that have done that, really.
Yeah, he sat on the pole with Kansas, driving the KHI car, this 33, but has yet to win in his own equipment. Boy, would love that to come here at the home racetrack.
Gonna have a good start. Third quick so far. That'll probably wind up easily in the top 10.
You heard us interview a moment ago. Brad Keselowski was hoping to make his Sprint Cup debut. So was Brian Clausen, who was scheduled to drive the Felix Sabates and Chip Ganassi car. And of course, with qualifying rained out in Cup yesterday, he will have to wait for a later date and trying to get this nationwide car in the top 10.
Tons of sparks going into turn 1. That's not good. when you have the car bottom out like that, it's just you're not going to get the most out of the race car.
Yeah, it's not only slowing it down there, but it's getting where you can't get back to the throttle. Because you're waiting for that thing to land at some point in time.
His best finish came on a 1.5-mile track at Kentucky, where he finished 5th. He's already won a pole this year, got it in Daytona in July. Wow, look at the sparks underneath the car.
See, just a little less sparks than you saw the first lap, but still upset the car quite a bit. You can see that late exit that he was way up at the racetrack.
Brad Parrott will be paying close attention to that and making adjustments here. We get into now. Of course, they can't do much. They kind of made their bed now.
You can't really adjust the height of the car. That's the thing. But I think that a lot of these guys have got the car set up where it won't bottom out when they take the tape off. Once they take the tape off the car, it will not be traveling near as far, and the tires will blow up just a little bit more when they get hot during the race.
It's an impound race, and even the Parrots have a hard time adjusting.
Yeah, I guarantee you. It makes it tough. You know, it's a fine line as to what you can do here and try to get this thing balanced for a qualifying lap and a pretty good effort. You can see all that tape Andy was just talking about on the front. So when you take that off, you lose a lot of that downforce, and just like you said, that's probably what they've got this thing set up for.
Brian does a pretty good job. He was 40th quick in practice, and that's going to wind up a lot better than that in this qualifying session. Now here comes the guy that's going to have a shot at Joey Lagano.
Carl was the quickest car, as you heard in the final section. We'll see what Carl can do. Trying to, he's got 5 races to go to try to somehow catch Clint Bowyer and win his second NASCAR nationwide title in a row.
There's the green.
Yeah, it's going to take everything he did in practice, because he ran a 67 and a 68 on the pole right now. So it's going to take every bit of that lap.
Okay, right here. He's got a 1/2 tenth now getting into turn 3.
Joe Lagano was really good on the exit of this corner.
Looks like Carl's maybe going to be able to hold this.
Well, he is
going to be close. He does it.
Ran a 64. See if he shuts it off.
He's going to. Yeah, right after he got loose there in the middle of 1 and 2 that lap.
Let's call that one good, too. You can see there when our tracker shows a little bit of green, and then it just dives straight off. You can tell he got out of the front.
Carl Edwards trying to hold on and pick up what would be his 4th pole of the year and lead him down to the green flag later tonight. Carl Edwards climbing out of his Ford on pit road. He has given him something to shoot at with a 29.648 second lap. The only lap he took in qualifying, and it right now is the best of the 20 that have gone out to run. Here's the 4 car, Derek Cope, the 1990 Daytona 500 winner, out for his run. Currently 17th overall. Lots of motorsports yet to come your way. Happy hour coming up in a little while, 6:30 Eastern time. Nationwide coverage, live flag to flag tonight at 7:30 Eastern. NASCAR Now will kick off our coverage Saturday morning at 10 a.m. NHRA action on ESPN2 at 7 o'clock. And on ABC, live flag to flag coverage of the Bank of America 500 at Charlotte. It is stop number 5 on the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. Jason Leffler in the 38 car going out to see what he can get done in his Toyota. Should be somewhere in the top 10. Car was pretty good in final practice. Jamie.
And Kevin Harvick sits 4th on the board. You said that's pretty good for us here. What's your biggest challenge here, Kevin?
Well, like last time I was here, we crashed in qualifying, so that obviously wasn't good. But our Ream Chevrolet has driven really good all weekend, and it's just has been a track that, for whatever reason, I don't have the best feel at. But they've done a great job of giving me a car that I feel really comfortable in, and you know, I think we're going to qualify fairly well, and that's a good thing for us here.
All right, we'll let Kevin Harvick take off, and right now Carl Edwards sits on the pole. We'll walk over here and get a word with him real quick. Carl, you said we're not going to get greedy, but that's a pretty good car. What'd you think of your lap?
I mean, that's good. You know, it's still just one lap. You know, we got to run this race, and Clint, you know, he stepped it up there big time, and he's been real fast. So that's our mission, just try to get this, you know, get as many laps as we can, get the winter guard fusion up front, and gain points.
How important is it for you to start up front at this racetrack?
I think it's real important to start up front anytime, especially with these cars, the way, you know, it's so hard to pass. So, man, I'm proud of my guys for making this car that good, you know. I wanted to run that second lap, but I thought, man, that should be dumb to wreck this thing.
All right, Carl Edwards, he's been to victory lane here. He knows how to get it done. Doc?
Only won 4 times from the pole, as you heard Dave Burns said. The last one to do it was Carl's teammate, Matt Kenseth, back at this race in 2000.
Should have got Jamie to see if Harvick wanted to interview Carl there. I guess that probably wouldn't have worked, though.
But would have been good to watch. Here's Marcus Ambrose, the winner early in the year on the road course at Watkins Glen. Marcus headed full-time to the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series in 2009 with JTG Doherty Racing.
I think we've seen he and it. We talked about his teammate Kelly Byers kind of stepped their program up. I think we've seen both of these cars running better here the latter part of the season.
News this week, by the way, they will be going running Toyotas. This whole team moving to a Toyota. I'm pretty excited about what that's going to hold for them in an arrangement with Michael Waltrip Racing to be able to use some technology assistance there.
Yeah, a lot going on there. Nice first lap, 6th quickest so far.
See a lot of sparks. You see the sparks coming out of the left side of this car. That's kind of unusual when you see that. See his left front tire smoking. They've got the left side of this car way down in the racetrack, which is a good thing, obviously, because he's 6th quickest. But that's kind of unusual to see the sparks coming out of the left front like that.
Yeah. Is that something they could do with a shock here in qualifying, Andy, that they could take back away before the race?
Yeah, they could actually tune that just a little bit. But this might be their race package also.
5th overall, good effort for Marcus Ambrose. Let's check in with a former winner here at this track. Dave?
3 times at this track, in fact, Jeff Burton has won. And Jeff, this weekend marks the final weekend in the 29 car for you this year. I assume the agenda is the same, win.
Yeah, you know, we that's what's really fun about racing over here, especially with these guys, is we're here to win, and you know, we race to win. We don't make calls to finish 5th, or you know, we just race to win and mainly just have a good time. So this is you know, last race of Holiday Inn Chevrolet for this year. Excited about it. I think we have a great car. I'm really excited about it. Looking forward to the race and looking forward to this lap.
So as our in-race reporter today, what do you expect from Dale Jarrett in the way of a question?
I hope something good, something challenging. That's what I expect. So I think it's going to be really interesting. I think you're going to see a lot of different lines. They're going to be running up by the wall, down on the white line, all over the place. Hopefully he's asking me if I think they can get by me or not. That's what I'm hoping he's asking.
I hear DJ scribbling madly up there.
Sound like it threw down on you there, Dale.
Oh, baby.
Hey, threw the gauntlet out there and it says you got to get it done. So I'm going to have to go to work here and really come up with something. So all you people out there are watching, send in plenty of questions. I might choose 2 of them. I might use yours as mine, too.
Here's Kenny Wallace out to qualify in his Chevrolet, the 2-time most popular driver here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
You might get one of those questions from Dale in Conover.
That's right. Yes.
Why haven't you won this year? See what Kenny can do. First time by 30.32. And a little bit slower second time by. It is somewhat of an enigma talking about Jeff Burton. He won 5 races a year ago. Kevin Harvick, his teammate, won 6 a year ago. Neither one of those guys have won a race in 2008.
I think you can look at those Toyotas at Joe Gibbs and kind of give them a little credit for that, too. They've won a lot of races that kept a lot of people from winning early this year.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, all year.
Yeah, the whole competition of this series, I mean, just shows how much you have to stay on top of things and keep moving forward.
I think Jimmy Johnson put it best. I come over here and I'm running 15th, and I'm over there leading in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Jimmy has 1 career victory in a nationwide car. Here's Brad Keselowski, who has 2 wins this year, including that impressive performance from the back of the pack at Bristol on the night race in August.
He did a terrific job there, and you could see him as he started his lap down the backstretch, weaving his car back and forth, trying to get just a little bit of heat in those tires before he got down to turn 3. He didn't get enough in it because he's really loose right there.
Well, he gave it everything he had, and you could tell right there where the car just gave up on him. Just cannot hardly run a fast lap at this track if the car's loose.
You saw at the opening of our show how passionate and the pushing and shoving that took place back between him and Denny Hamlin in May here. Ended up finishing 3rd that night.
Okay, that was 15th. He's going to give this another shot. Probably going to float it in the corner a little easier.
Yeah, this lap. Yeah, but that's pretty impressive that he ran that lap messing it with the car that loose, and especially in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, you can see by the tracker, he actually was a little slower right there getting into 1 and going into 2, but he carried the speed a little better off.
Whoa, real loose there. Hold on.
Oh, man, that was close.
But I'm done.
Wow. Bad loose. Bad loose.
He tried. I mean, he gave it all he had over there in 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's a handful both laps. Here he is down in turn 1 on the beginning of his lap. You can see that car just turning too good right there. So he made a better second lap. As you pointed out, Andy, he got out of the throttle a little bit better in 1 and 2 and had a good lap, but probably carried more speed down here now.
Yeah, he had about 10 more miles an hour by the time he gets to this point, and man, you see how quick that car can jump out from underneath.
Well, he came from the middle of the pack in May and had a car that could contend at the end. He'll have to do it again here tonight. Scott Lagacy, latest car to go on the track in qualifying. Good first lap for Lagacy, the second-generation driver. 29.99 puts him 9th on the speed charts, making only his 3rd start there in the 11 car for CJM Motorsports.
He's going to be able to see the front when the green comes out tonight. Great qualifying run.
By the way, final race for Todd Gordon, the veteran crew chief. He'll be leaving this team after tonight.
Brian Vickers on the track now. Brian always runs well here, whether it's in the Cup Series or in this Nationwide Series. You can see the back end hung out there.
Good. This is not going to work out for him. He had the sun come out just a little bit right there. Track had a lot of grip in it.
Crash, boys.
Brian was the pole sitter.
It was pretty loose. It was pretty loose. Sun came out. Get the backup out. Sorry, guys.
Trent Owens, a crew chief there. Brian was the pole sitter here back in May, hustled this car during that qualifying and tried to do it here today, but with a different result.
You could really see that car turn down into the corner. That left front was down on the white line, and it looked like it was over a foot back, how much the left rear was up off of that.
Oh, yeah, this car was loose from the second he turned in. As soon as he looked at the corner, the car turned. That sun had just come out, and the track gotten just a little slicker. I'm sure that Brian was going for it here because he saw the lap times these other guys were running.
Yeah.
But the track just didn't hold it with that extra heat in it.
So they'll have some work to do. And of course, Brian Vickers will be racing tonight and tomorrow night. We will be here for the chase continuing. Stop number 5 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, the Bank of America 500 at Charlotte, 7 o'clock Eastern time on ABC, beginning with NASCAR Countdown. Alan Bestwick, Brad Doherty, and Rusty Wallace join us here tomorrow night.
Right there, and Trent came on the radio and said 88 was really, really loose when the sun came out, and I probably should have heated that more than I did. I still went back out there and I went for the pole. All right.
We're about to get run over by the car right now.
Yeah, I probably should have heated this morning more than I did because the track definitely loosened up quite a bit when the sun came out, and instead I tried to go out there and probably sit it on the pole, but you know, it just came around on me, and by the time I called it, it was just too late. You know, but like I said, I think we'll be fine. You know, we got a good package, a good setup. This is a good car. We're going to change the motors. We'll start in the back, but I think we'll be fine.
All right, he's going to have a long night ahead, but we'll watch Brian Vickers. And guys, Trent Owens went to victory lane one time in his crew chief career, and that was with Dave Blaney, who's in their other car. Kind of confusing, Doc.
Yeah, that happened 2 years ago tonight. Here's Andrew Ranger, the 2006 NASCAR Canada Stock Car Series champion.
It's his first time on this racetrack, and you can see he was struggling to get his car down to the bottom of the racetrack. But nevertheless, we'll race tonight. He clocks in a 22nd spot right now.
We might mention most of the races in the NASCAR Canadian Series are on road courses and street courses, and the first time he ever had driven on an oval in a stock car was early in the year when they brought him to Bristol, Tennessee. I'd like to have that one your first oval.
Man, that'd be a tough one right there, wouldn't it, Dale? Just fire off at Bristol for your first oval?
Yeah, he probably thinks the rest of these are a piece of cake.
Let's check in where Dave is caught up with Bernie Lamar.
That's right, and it's sort of an interesting tie-in to the Brian Vickers Braun Racing story because there was a big announcement this weekend for Bernie Lamar. What happened?
We announced next year I'll be in the Dollar General 21 races, and really looking forward to it to next year and being a part of Braun Racing.
Now you saw Brian, who I guess I have no idea who's going to drive the other races or whatever next year. He could be a teammate, he might not, whatever. But with what he was doing out there and the fact that you have to put this 05 car in the show, that you watched that with some interest.
Well, I know Trent and the guys over there were working on race setup. They're looking at winning the Dollar General 300 tonight, and he was just giving it all it had. And you can't fault him for that. You're going to have that in racing. But the 05's got to get in on time. We're on a little bit different schedule.
I got Newtmore over here. I think we're going to be just fine.
Right, you go to qualify in about a half dozen cars, Doc.
So good news for Bernie Lamar about 2009. This driver on the left side of your screen, Bobby Hamilton Jr., still looking for some good news next year. Ed Renzi and the team in this trying to find sponsorship to run and continue a full-time effort here in the series.
He ran an okay first lap and 15th so far, and then he tried to, looks like he just didn't want to try that second lap.
I'm sure he was
Felt
figuring,
something.
yeah, no more than what they've had going right this year, that he got himself solidly in there. And like as you said, not a bad lap.
Tony Raines in the 52 car. This is the Jimmy Means Ford. And so Tony, who's been looking for rides in 2009 in both Cup and Nationwide. This actually is a Chevrolet. Jimmy Smud Means, longtime driver. In fact, I think, DJ, you drove your first major race for Jimmy Means.
I did drive one of them, was in my first in 1984. Jimmy called me to drive at Daytona Beach. And what turned out to be Richard Petty's 200th win was my second Cup start.
See, he's not going, you know, he's not threatening for the pole or anything, but that car still is hitting the racetrack. Looks like he's got his hands full. He's giving it all it's got, but 31.47 is all it has right now.
He is guaranteed a starting spot. Again, the top 30 in owners points in the NASCAR Nationwide Series are guaranteed to get in. There'll be just one more car after him, Jeff Burton. That's the among the guaranteed starters. And we'll begin the go or go homers, the guys that must get in on time and speed.
So he pretty much overlaying what he did that first time. He picked up a little bit, but actually ended up picking up about 0.4 of a second on that second lap, up to 24th spot for Tony Raines.
If you just joined our coverage, Carl Edwards currently on the pole. Turned a lap at 29.648. Joey Lagano in the Toyota ran a 29.68. Clint Bowyer is third. Kevin Harvick is fourth, and Marcus Ambrose, good qualifying effort for Marcus in the 59 car, is fifth, and his teammate Kelly Byers currently is sixth, with Jimmy Johnson, the Cup Series point leader, in seventh.
Okay, fans, if you were watching just a little bit ago, he is our in-race reporter, so make sure you give us a good question for Jeff. He said he really wanted us to tax his mind here tonight, something very intriguing, a good question. So help me out there.
Okay, look here. He's threatening this pole position. Looks like the car's very solid off turn 2.
Yeah, nice.
The cloud has come back over. Track's cooled down.
Final start of the year in the NASCAR Nationwide car. Remember, he's fourth in the points in the NASCAR Sprint Cup chase.
Look here, guys. This is going the right direction, big time.
Yes, sir. Here he comes.
He'll be one and done with that lap. Shuts it off.
Wow. Wow, what a great lap. 29.53.
Job. Good job, buddy. 55.30.
It looked stable. It didn't look didn't look risky. Just a nice fast lap.
Yeah.
If you'd like to ask Jeff Burton a question, log on to ESPN.com, keyword ask the driver, and maybe have your question answered by Jeff tonight. And log on and give us some good questions. Remember, he said earlier, I want a challenging question. So let's challenge Jeff Burton, who may be our pole sitter. Only a couple more may have a shot at him, but that was a very, very good lap.
Now, he just challenged this field. He beat him by 1/10 of a second so far.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Here's the 10 car. This was scheduled to be driven by Denny Hamlin. It is actually Dave Blaney who is subbing for Denny Hamlin because of what happened a week ago at Talladega.
Right front tire blew out on that 11 car while he's leading the race. See, that was a pretty hard lick Denny took on that outside wall.
He'll be back in the NASCAR Sprint Cup car here tomorrow night. He was taken to University of Alabama Birmingham Hospital, spent the night there for observation. He has been cleared and will be competing in his Cup car. But Dave Blaney driving the Nationwide car. And again, in Dave's only start here back in October of 2006, he won the race.
He's just going to take the one lap, 29.91, 7th fastest.
Got Nice lap. I started to say at the beginning of that lap that he may want any driving that looked at that as loose as that looked for a minute.
Jeff Burton has put it on the pole. We'll talk with him in just a moment. NASCAR Nationwide Series veteran Kevin LePage in that 73 car is a two-time winner in the series in his history. Good qualifying effort for him in that Dodge.
That's mid-pack so far, 17th out of 34. Good qualifying run for Kevin LePage.
He slows down while we check in with our current pole sitter, Jamie.
Well, I don't think Jeff Burton realizes this, but the track cooled down 8 degrees from the guy who went ahead of you till then. Do you actually feel that difference when you're out there?
Yeah, when qualifying started, I walked out of my motorhome and I thought, wow, this same picture we've always seen here. Typically at Charlotte, when we qualify during the middle of the day, it gets really slick. We always see cars spin and cars wreck, and so I got in my mindset about just being smooth and easy and calm. And then the clouds came and it got, I mean, you could feel the temps come down, and then I got excited because I thought we could race hard. And then the sun came out during that red flag, but unfortunately it went back in. So we got a good break, but on top of that, the Holiday Inn Chevrolet is awesome. Pat and everybody done a great job. This is the best car we've had all year, and I was really happy with it in race trim, and real happy to get that lap in at qualifying.
Great lap for Jeff Burton, right now sitting on the pole. Dave Burns?
Jamie, from a veteran to a guy who's attempting to make his first start here in the Nationwide Series, Justin Allgaier, and tell us about the deal that you signed with Penske Racing and where we're going to see you the rest of this season before the full-time next year.
Well, it looks like this year you're going to see us here, Texas, and Homestead, so really looking forward to those 3 races. And next year our plans really haven't been figured out yet. We're just trying to take things as they come, but what a great organization. I mean, Roger Penske and all of his guys have put me in a great opportunity, and just so thankful for that. And we're looking forward to getting this Penske truck rental Dodge in the race tonight, and looking forward to a good night all in all.
What have the laps been like on this tricky racetrack?
Well, it's definitely been tough. I've never been here and raced, so this is all new to me. I've been around Charlotte Motor Speedway for a long time, and a lot of racing history here, so I'm definitely excited about it. But at the same time, it's a tough racetrack. It's made life today a little bit treacherous. I about wrecked a couple of times in practice, so trying to keep all 4 fenders on it and load it back in the trailer the same way we unloaded it. And if we can do that at the end of the night, and hopefully if we make the race, then it'll be a great night for us, good building night.
And guys, if you've heard him talking to others down here, wishing him well before he gets qualifying, he's been taking in a lot of information. He's trying to understand just what this track is doing before he has to jump in the car and go fast.
Well, does Roger Penske have an eye for talent or what? Very impressive young man at 22 years of age. Here's Curtis Davis in the 49 car. Curtis, one of the full-time competitors here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
I saw right before this, Bernie Lamar did a nice job of getting his car. He's in 16th right now at 30.28, so maybe a lap is good enough for him. Curtis Davis now in 25th, 30.57. Listening to Justin Allgaier there, the best thing he can do is keep an eye on that sun, and that will determine exactly how much he can go after this racetrack.
If he's looking at it right now, he's seeing sun on the racetrack, but there's still a lot of clouds that are out there that he could get a good, cool racetrack for qualifying.
Curtis Davis will not pick it up on his second lap, so he'll stick with that first lap of 30.577.
Again, we have 51 cars here. 43 will start, so that means 8 of these cars we're watching now qualify. The so-called go or go homers will have to pack it up and not compete here tonight.
We had a couple of cars that were on the entry list earlier that had practice accidents. Will not be making an attempt to qualify.
I think that time right there, that 30.57 by Curtis Davis, will be that pretty well at that cutoff line. He'll probably be good with that one, but it'll be, I think, pretty close to that number.
Here's the 09 John West Townley. Been running in the NASCAR Truck Series. The 2 cars DJ was talking about that had issues that were in practice today were the 03 of Justin Marks. By the way, that car was in the top 5 overall in speed. Justin driving for Germain Motorsports, and he had an incident in the final practice, and he had to withdraw. And also the 23 car, Robert Richardson Jr. Neither one of those cars will be able to make an attempt to qualify.
Said this young man here has been getting really loose right there.
Oh yeah, he's loose again, right in the middle of 3 and 4.
This drives a little different than that truck that he's been racing. Plus, again, just how difficult it is to come here and qualify as the sun has come back out now and heating the track up.
Made a pretty good first lap. Oh no, here we go. Another car hard in the wall. Oh, man. This track will reach up and bite you. This is almost getting to be as treacherous a racetrack as Darlington.
It really is very tough. You're just having to go so hard, and you know you're sitting here trying to make the race. He had, as you said, Andy, a pretty good first lap. It was 19th quickest.
Yeah, I think that was going to be a fast enough lap time to get him in the field. Now, whether he has a backup car or not will determine whether he can start. He's definitely going to need a backup car.
So he's probably trying to get a little bit more out of it. Oh, it gets down off the racetrack. You can see the sparks right there. Yeah, he's way off the track and everything. Yeah, that definitely will get you loose. That'll just turn the car immediately. Just unhooks the rear end of the car. You see the spring flying out.
That's one of the characteristics about the cars that's different than the trucks, is the trucks seem to be a little more forgiving in that situation right there. These cars will snap around you hard to.
You can see right there the car, he wiggled a little bit getting in, and then the car just hooked around the bottom of the racetrack there. And you see these young guys trying to do this, makes it awful difficult.
Tough break for the Truck Series veteran trying to get qualified here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying ongoing. Here's Morgan Shepherd, who, by the way, will turn 67 years young on Sunday. Morgan is a former pole sitter here, won the pole at this race 25 years ago in 1983.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. He's out here still doing his team.
He's got a new associate sponsor there on the quarter pound.
Yeah, we were able to help Morgan out a little bit with our driving school. Over here at Driving Adventure, so that's what's on the quarter pound. Morgan's a great guy and helped him out with his tires this week. Hard thing was him to go out here now. He's still got a little bit of sunshine, plus the car in front of him just crashed, so it always makes a difficult qualifying effort.
Yeah, 31 flat, 31.02 the first lap. He's going to go for a second lap. It looks like it might be just a little bit better. He's going to have to pick it up a little bit, I think, to beat some of these guys to make it in. I really feel like that 20 or 30-60 is actually probably what it's going to take or better to get in.
Well, just missed that by a little bit. Picked it up a lot, though. 30-78.
That puts him 28th. Dave?
And Josh Wise attempting to make his 15th nationwide start of the year. What has your laps at the Lowe's Motor Speedway been like this weekend?
It's been good. The car's been awesome, and I'm just excited to get going. If we can keep this rain away so we can get some time on the track, it'll be good. The car is good off the trailer, and just really got to thank Napa and everyone at Michael Waltrip Racing for all their hard work on this thing, and excited to get going.
And you got sort of a mock run in today?
Yeah, a little halfway mock run. It seemed like every time we tried to get out, whether it was yesterday or today, it was either raining or someone was crashing, which we're even seeing a lot of right now. So this place is pretty unforgiving. So try and go out and get the best lap I can.
They didn't quite get the motor cooled down, guys, so they only taped it up a little bit. So they got half a mock run, which I guess Josh will put to it as much as he can and take that qualifying run, guys.
We'll watch his run coming up momentarily, Dave. Thank you. Here's Jeff Green, former series champion in the 31 car.
Pretty good run going by Jeff Green here so far.
I think his car is a little bit free, 3-1 and 2, but it still holds a pretty good lap right here. Oh yeah, that's 15th quick so far, 30.18. A lot of sparks flying. Looks like he might try for a second lap, and looks like he's going to give it up.
2000 series champion. Jeff has 16 wins to his credit. Has also run part-time in his career as a NASCAR Sprint Cup Series driver. We'll have NASCAR Sprint Cup action coming your way. The chase continues. The Bank of America 500 at Charlotte. Tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern time on ABC. Beginning with NASCAR Countdown, Alan Bestwick, Brad Daugherty, Rusty Wallace. Did not have qualifying, so they line up the field based on point standing. So it'll be Jimmy Johnson and Carl Edwards leading him down from the front row. . ' Next car to attempt qualify, the 93. This is Kenny Hendrick driving this car.
It's interesting to watch all of these guys that are making either their first or second time here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, their effort in qualifying, to see how they go about it versus these guys that have been doing it a long time. I was going to say earlier that most of the guys we see having problems are younger guys that are inexperienced, except for Brian Vickers jumped in there and did that. One of the driver that has a lot of experience here that crashed.
Kenny from the West Coast, a former short track, short oval racer out there, very accomplished in the open wheel ranks. Getting a chance to run a backup car quite a bit this year, or I should say a second car for Stanton Barrett's race team.
His first lap time was 30.807, just behind Morgan Shepherd. He's going to need to pick it up just a little bit.
Looks like he's going to pick it up some.
Yeah.
Picks it up a couple of tenths over the 28th spot. 30.63.
Let's go down to Dave Burns.
Checking in with Jamie McMurray, who is in the qualifying line right now. One of your wins in the Cup Series came right here. How about the Nationwide Series this weekend, Jamie?
The car has been really fast. PK and all the guys in the City Financial Ford Fusion have done. They've given me a really good car. So we were first most of the practice there, and then some guys made a mock-up run at the end, and it bumped us back a ways. But I think that if we can get the sun to stay away, we have a legitimate shot at the pole, and then our car in race trim was really solid. So look forward to tonight.
Another driver studying that weather before he gets ready to qualify, guys.
Sat on the pole at Gateway this year, Jamie McMurray did. Here is the 70 car. Now we're going to compare Mark Green's time to the fastest of the guys that have to get in on time and speed. That is Dave Blaney.
Yeah, this car here now, once they start, this is going to start locking in some guys and turn their lights green, we call it, because our screen shows them in yellow until they lock in. Right now, Dave Blaney is the highest qualified car that is a go or go homer.
Pretty good lap here. Reasonable for Mark Green. Puts him in 25th right there at 30.455. I need to pick that. That's right there where you said that.
Yeah, it's going to be right at that cutoff line. I believe that's going to wind up above the cutoff, so he should make it with that speed. He's not going to take a chance, so he wants to try to improve on it right here. Looks like it's going to be just a tick slower, which is the trend we've seen all day. Unless you really mess up that first lap, it's almost impossible to pick up on that second lap.
Slows down just a little bit, about 3/100ths of a second. 30.48 on that second lap, so he'll clock in 25th right now. Well, what he's looking at, though, he's beat 3 of the go or go homers right now.
Next car scheduled to go was to be the 03. We mentioned that Justin Marks had damaged his car in final practice. That would put the 18 of Kyle Busch as the next car to go out. There is Kyle, the 8-time winner this year in the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
New paint scheme for this 18. That NOS energy drink. Something we haven't seen so far this year. Like Kyle's car's a little bit free right there.
Yeah, you can see him really working the steering wheel through the center of the corner.
This 18 team has a total of 8 wins in 2008, 6 of them with Kyle Busch, 2 with Denny Hamlin. By the way, Kyle did win the race here in May, but not driving for Joe Gibbs. He won it driving for Todd Vaughn Motorsports, the 32 car.
That's 13th. That's not a bad lap, but I'm sure it's not what Kyle Busch is looking for. He's going to try to improve on it right here.
See, he was still fighting that car. Left side tires down a little bit below that white line.
And he cuts it off halfway down the back straight.
Wasn't much good going to happen from that point.
Got a long time to make up those 13 spots in the race, so he'll call it good. Get ready to go to work tonight.
200 laps, 300 miles coming up tonight. The two cars that are locked in of the go or go homers right now are the 10 car of Dave Blaney, the 31 former series champion Jeff Green, and of course the 18 car there now of Kyle Busch.
These guys, we're getting to the part of the lineup now that these guys really are starting to figure out exactly how fast they need to run. Stan Barrett was really quick in the morning practice session.
He was 13th in happy hour. So this team's got some high expectations for this qualifying run. Comparing his lap time to Kyle Busch, who is 13th. Not on track to beat Kyle, but I believe he's got a decent lap going so far.
Some of Stanton's best runs have come here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. He likes the racetrack. If you talk to him, this one and the track at Atlanta are his favorites.
I'm not going to be happy with that first lap, a 30.77.
27, run another lap.
Yeah, you hear the crew chief Ricky Pearson telling Stanton to run another lap.
You see that car bottom out a little bit there down the middle of 1 and 2 also.
See, he's got a lot better lap going here.
Yeah.
You could hear the urgency in Ricky Pearson's voice. Hey, run another lap. That's probably not going to be good enough.
Plus, he knew he was that good in that final practice session, so he knew he had it in him.
I believe he's got a lot better lap here.
Wow, look at this.
Be one to get him in the race.
Yeah, that'll get him in 17th, 30-20.
That's good. 30-20.
Now, how valuable is that for a veteran crew chief to be on the money and just grab that radio and say, you got to go
Pretty
again?
important.
And Stanton Barrett did it and put that car in the top 20. More qualifying from Lowe's Motor Speedway in just a moment. 21-year-old Chase Miller on the track for his qualifying efforts. This is a second car for Gillette Evernham Motorsports, the other one being driven by Casey Kane. Let's check in with Jamie.
Well, Kyle Busch sits 13th on the board right now. Kyle, yesterday you guys had a bit of an issue in practice with the motor. Did you have any idea what you had going out there?
No, I'm just concentrating on making laps, I guess. But, you know, yesterday there was some sort of issue, not sure what it was. But, yeah, it seems like we're down a little bit, and that just might be the tapered spacer. But we're fine. We're in the show. We're good.
How'd the car feel?
Loose as hell.
Loose as heck, he says, and he's won here 3 times, guys, so it's going to be fun watching him come from mid-pack to the front.
Be a lot cooler tonight, so a lot better racetrack for where these cars are set up. I mean, remember, they're impounded after qualifying. Chase Miller, by the way, being compared to the 17th fastest car, Stanton Barrett. And Miller right now is 16th quickest, so a good run for the 21-year-old.
So the cars locked in now are Dave Blaney, Kyle Busch, Chase Miller, and Jeff Green. Stanton Barrett's the fastest car yet to lock in.
And again, there were 8 cars that will not make it of the 51 total that will take time.
That was a very nice lap by Chase Miller right there. Yes, a bit faster than his teammate, Casey Kane.
00 Josh Wise, you heard the interview a moment ago. This is a very talented driver that a lot of people in the garage here, a lot of the veterans are very high on. And we're going to compare his lap to the pole sitter, Jeff Burton.
I know Josh would probably like to go after the pole here. I know that his main concern is making sure he gets this in the race, but the car looks very stable right there.
Yeah, it's just so hard for them to go, these guys that have to make it on speed. You have to really go after that last 10th or 2, and it's very risky, as we've seen.
Yeah.
Quite a few cars got, and here goes
right
another
there.
one.
Oh, baby.
Man.
Oh, goodness.
Heck,
Just so risky. That edge here is such a knife edge. You don't know it's coming until it's too late.
You know what happens? You get everything out there and you get all your best stuff and everything done, and you carry more speed down that back straightaway than what you'd been carrying into turn 3. You have more tape on there, and the tires are probably pumped up just a little bit more than what you were doing.
So you back off about the same spot. You feel like you should be able to make the corner, but you just got to have that extra speed.
That's right. Yeah, and before you know it, that extra speed's created a situation of not having as much grip when you get down there to the center, and that's where we've seen these guys have a lot of problems. You'll see right here, just starts to step out. You can see him try to correct it, but it just happens so quickly. Man.
I mean, it actually looked like the car was he actually put a little bit of left turn into it before this thing snapped around.
Yeah.
Hard lick, but he's able to climb out of the car, which is the best news. And watch it again.
Seems a theme that we've seen here at qualifying at Lowe's Motor Speedway over literally the last 2 or 3 years, especially when we have these impound situations. We see Josh Wise getting out of the car.
So we'll clean up the remains of his Toyota and come back with more qualifying in just a moment. Our coverage of NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying is being brought to you by FreeCreditReport.com. Stay on top of your credit score and credit report at FreeCreditReport.com. And by NBA 09, The Inside. Nothing gets you closer, only on PlayStation. Been a very difficult qualifying session for the NASCAR Nationwide Series. Some hard hits and some near misses. This is the near miss. What a job by Brad Keselowski.
Car gets extremely loose, but he's one of the lucky guys that was able to save his car and not go to a backup.
Jimmy Johnson here coming off of turn 4, second lap, saved that car.
81, not so lucky Canadian DJ Kennington.
One of the early qualifiers, you can see the sun was on the track was slick. DJ loses control and has to go to a backup car.
Former series champion and two-time pole sitter Brian Vickers smacks the wall hard. Having to go to a backup car, John West Townley, the Truck Series regular.
A hard lesson learned here of qualifying at Charlotte.
And most recently, Josh driving for Michael Waltrip Racing. So good in that final practice session. Thought he might have a car in the top 10 in qualifying, but ends up in the wall.
And he will not make the show.
And now, how about the pressure that must be on the shoulders of the 22-year-old driver in that yellow car right there? That is the Roger Penske Dodge for Justin Allgaier out of Riverton, Illinois. Now, he is an ARCA driver that Roger Penske saw at Chicago a few weeks ago driving for his family race team. The young man has won 5 times in ARCA racing this year. And of course, a week ago, Roger Penske said, if you can find a Dodge, I will loan you an engine to run Talladega in the ARCA race. And folks, here's what happened.
2.66 miles to go at Talladega. Joey Lagano with a big run. He's got Justin Allgaier right behind him. There's a wide open road. Oh, what a move. How about that? Joey Lagano tries to come up. He's not got enough time. Justin Allgaier will win at Talladega.
Won it a week ago at Talladega, and now Roger Penske says, okay, it's NASCAR time, young man. Your NASCAR Nationwide Series debut at a very tricky Lowe's Motor Speedway after some more experienced drivers have had their troubles today. You wonder what he's thinking about right now, DJ.
Yeah, this is a tough situation even for the most experienced. You never want to see a crash right before you get ready to go out. And here's a young man that told us a while ago that he hasn't even raced here, hadn't been on this racetrack, doesn't really know what to expect other than he's seen about 6 cars crash and a number of others near misses.
And here's some better news. I see the sun coming out.
Huh.
So this is going to be a challenging qualifying lap for this young man. A lot of expectations with him too. I mean, he's driving for Roger Penske. You got to imagine that he has high hopes and high expectations of himself.
Got to wonder how many times he went to bed at night as a youngster like you did, Dale, dreaming about getting a chance on the big stage like tonight.
Yeah, you want that opportunity, but the one thing I think that Justin could probably hang his hat on this isn't, as much as this is an audition, it's not a one and done deal. If it doesn't work out here on this lap or these 2 laps, then a lot of people still have a lot of high expectations from him, and that will probably continue on. But you know that he wants to go out there and make this work. Probably the good thing is sitting down there on the first turn end of the front straightaway is he couldn't see that speedy drive they had to put down because of Josh Wise. They've got it cleaned up as good as they can, but you never do get all of that off of there. So let's wish him luck as he goes out here in his first attempt at Charlotte.
Let's see what he can do. He's supposed to qualify and race tonight and hop in a plane tomorrow to go to Toledo, where he will race on Sunday in the ARCA REMAX Series. But as you mentioned, Roger Penske has already said this is the guy I'm going to put in a nationwide car in 2009.
Yeah, he's got that on his side, and guess what I've seen him running in the ARCA? He's been very impressive in watching him do that. And I know this is a totally different series, but he seems to have a lot of car controls. Let's see what he does here. going to compare him to the pole sitter here, Jeff Burton. You can hear him get out of the throttle there. Cost him a little bit of time, but probably on the safer side. I think he probably wants to get in one good, reasonable lap here.
Yeah, he needs to run about a 20-40 to have a really good feeling about making this show. He's run a lot faster than that, but don't want to overstep this thing. We've seen a lot of guys do that and tear up their cars.
Pretty good lap here, though.
Oh, yeah, that's going to do it.
Very nice.
That locks him in right there.
All right, crew chief, what do you say?
Call him in. That's what I do.
Whoa.
I say, let's bring it in.
And he still stays in the gas for lap number 2, which is where some of these guys have had their issues.
Well, good luck. We've seen too much happen down here.
He's trying to get a couple more positions here. On pace 2 so far, if he can make it off of turn 4.
So far, so good.
Nice job.
The car looks good, though. The car looked like it was handling very well.
This could put him in the top 15 if he can hang on.
Wow. Very impressive right there.
12.
Nice. What are your steps right there? 30.04.
How impressive is that?
That was something else.
160.
30.041. Jamie?
Well, another guy breathing a sigh of relief, Chase Miller. Last minute of practice today, he went out and wrecked the backup, or the primary. You got in the backup without a lap on it. What was it like qualifying, knowing you guys had to make the show on time?
Extremely nerve-wracking. You know, it's a shame because our primary car is real good. We're working on the race train. We got it handled pretty good, and went out to make a qualifying run and just didn't quite get it tight enough, and lost it getting into 3 and chased it all the way through 3 and 4, and finally got the wall. But no, the Verizon Wireless Motorola Dodge is really good. We're excited, and we're in the show. We get to go racing tonight, so it'll be a good deal.
All right, a bad day has turned into a good day for another young driver looking for a good race tonight, Doc.
The future of this series, Jamie, with drivers like Chase Miller and Justin Allgaier and Joey Lagano, how about what 2009 and beyond holds for the NASCAR Nationwide Series and eventually the NASCAR Sprint Cup?
Problems here for Larry Gunsman.
He doesn't even get up to speed right here. I don't know what's going on with the car. Shut it off.
This is like
09 near the John West Townley. That's Roush team helping their Truck Series driver get the backup car ready. Because he is 24th right now on the speed charts.
Larry Gunsman did not complete a lap, so he definitely will not be in the race tonight.
This guy's got about 2 hours or so to get this car, about an hour and a half to get this car ready, and then try to get it through inspection for the race. Remember, these are, I guess, the impound races, so they got to get it re-inspected. Here's the 91 car, and that is Terry Cook. You're familiar with Terry, who is a veteran, a longtime veteran, very successful driver in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Terry Cook's a great race car driver. See, he's driving this 91 car. No sponsorship on the car, but this is a car and team that actually can qualify pretty good. You've seen these guys qualify up in the middle of the pack. Got a good lap going right here. On track to make this race without a problem.
Yeah, looking good so far.
Still never could figure out why Terry Cook, as good as he was in the Truck Series, never got a chance to really go run. Someone took gave him a shot to run full-time here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
He's 15th fastest, and he had just a few laps of practice in happy hour, so he didn't get a lot of laps, and puts his car solidly in the field.
Wow, nice lap right there. It's not like the track's cooled down or anything here. There's a lot of sun down in turns 1 and 2. Excellent job by Terry Cook.
Next car to go out is this, the car that has a shot to knock Jeff Burton off the pole. It is Jamie McMurray. Roush Fenway Ford. His teammate Carl Edwards right now on the outside front row. He's got to beat a 29.53 for Burton, which was one heck of a lap.
That's going to be tough. I know he's got a good race car, and he has high hopes for tonight, but track conditions the way they are, it's going to be a tough, tall order to try to beat that 29.50 lap that Burton put down.
Exactly, and trying to make sure that he gets his City Financial Ford into the race. That's first and foremost what he has to do. You know, he saw some of these other guys have problems, so I think he's probably going to be a little bit on the safer side.
Look at this. He's solidly in the green.
Like I said, he's going to take it easy.
Oh, man, look at this. This is impressive so
Yeah,
far.
just try to get it in, huh?
Yeah.
Come on now.
You got it in okay. Yeah. How about that?
Sat on the pole at St. Louis.
I think it's going to be good.
You're right, Jamie.
Oh, my
I mean,
God.
that is
Baby, P1, 29.26. Great job, everybody.
That's a quarter of a second faster than Jeff Burton.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Wow.
Jeff Burton climbing in his Sprint Cup car, getting ready for happy hour, and someone's going to give him the news of they probably just saw that lap.
Yeah, but he's
That's
going to
just about
revert back to Dave Burns, who reported that the pole sitter hasn't won in a long time. So that's what he's. Yeah, no, Jeff Burton's happy about that.
Jeff Burton can feel good about it. Now what about Jamie?
I know
Well,
one
Jamie said he doesn't pay attention to those kind of stats.
I know one guy that's feeling good right now is a young man standing with Jamie Little.
And Justin Allgaier over here getting the congratulations. What was that moment like, sitting in that car for that extra amount of time waiting to make your first run at qualifying for your first nationwide race?
It was horrible. You know, the time was definitely killing me, but, you know, I just can't thank these guys on the Penske Truck Rental Dodge enough. And Roger Penske, I mean, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me. And so to get it all started here at Charlotte, which is a racetrack that I've never raced at, but I've been around for a long time. And to just get this opportunity going into tonight really means a lot, and we're really looking forward to it. I mean, it should be a lot of fun.
A huge win last weekend for you at Talladega. We were watching it on TV. What's the biggest difference in a nationwide car this weekend?
I think just the biggest thing right now for us is just learning the new car. It's drives a little bit differently. So I'm going to have to learn it a little bit, but these guys at Penske organization have made my job easy. We struggled a little bit at the end of practice, and Matt Gimbel and the guys worked their butts off to get it right, and qualifying was awesome, and so now we got something to look forward to in the race.
All right, Justin Allgaier, somebody to watch for tonight. Sits 13th right now, Doc.
Very impressive indeed. Here's the 35 car, the 2006 Rookie of the Year in the series, Danny O'Quinn Jr.
Yeah, nice first lap by him. He locked himself in the race. 30.237. Nice to run that second lap.
Slows up a little bit, but it's nice. Gets him in the field. Good to see Danny back out here.
Drove for Jack Roush a couple of years ago when he won that Rookie of the Year title, and then was released at the end of the year. And looking for a full-time ride, and does a nice job getting that car in the qualified here at Charlotte.
Hey, great job.
Motorsports calendar coming up. We got the NASCAR Sprint Cup Happy Hour, 6:30 Eastern Time. Nationwide action, live flag to flag tonight at 7:30 Eastern Time on ESPN2. Kick off our coverage tomorrow with NASCAR Now at 10 a.m. NHRA action at 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. And on ABC tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, the chase continues. The Bank of America 500 at Charlotte. They will line up by points. Rain washed out qualifying, so it'll be Jimmy Johnson and Carl Edwards on the front row. Johnny Sauter, one of the final cars to go out. There'll be Sauter and two more yet to go.
Talked about that 30.57 being the cutoff line. Saw Curtis Davis ran that. He has actually been bumped with that lap time. Johnny Sauter runs slower than that. He runs a 30.98. Yep, he's got to pick it up to make it.
Yeah, the drivers that made times, Curtis Davis, Kenny Hendrick, and Morgan Shepherd, will not race tonight. And as you said, Johnny Sauter's going to have to pick it up here to get himself in.
On the bubble is a 70 car, Mark Green. He is the next car to be bumped out if they can run faster than a 30.45.
Not looking like that's going to happen for Johnny Sauter.
And he will not do it. So Mark Green will stand for two more to run. Pole sitter, Jamie McMurray. Dave.
Yeah, and not official quite yet, Doc, but it doesn't appear that the cars coming up are going to have anything for Jamie McMurray's lap. You said you thought it might be good coming across the checkers there. It was pretty good.
Yeah, well, I held it wide open through 1 and 2, and just I got to 3 and 4, and I had to let off a little bit. But PK and all these guys just did a great job on the City Financial Ford Fusion, and really need to thank Doug Yates and everybody at Roush Fenway at the engine shop, because with the tapered spacer, the engines are huge, and when you can hold the car wide open as long as you can at a place like this, it's big. So the engine shop has done a wonderful job.
Tell us what it's like the few times that you're in this car, Jamie, to sit on the pole twice in one season.
Well, I'm excited for PK, because after everything that happened with the 60 team, PK needed something to pick him back up. So he's an incredible crew chief, and he's done a wonderful job on coming over to the 17 and just very excited. But most importantly, my girlfriend was asleep. Christy, you better not be asleep in the motorhome. That was an incredible lap, and I'm hoping that you watched.
Smart guy. In the end, it's all for Christy. Okay.
Yeah, how good has this place been for Jamie? Got his first career Cup win here and only his second ever start back in 2002.
How about Johnny Chapman, 11th spot? Man.
Whoa.
This track must have picked up a little bit here for these last few cars.
Sure has. Been talking to Johnny quite a bit, and he's been working really hard in trying to get this coil binding figured out. You know, this is a team that doesn't have a lot of funding, but he pays attention, been asking a lot of questions, and it's obviously working out. So a great lap.
He's got something worked out. That's in the 29-second bracket. 29.98. Great job.
Last car to go will be the 02 of Andy Ponstein. 51st and final car. And by the way, that car qualifying a moment ago bumped out the 70 car of Mark Green. He was bumped from the start tonight, and on the bubble is the 09. John West Townley and the Roush Fenway guys are in there trying to get the backup car ready. They may want to watch this lap first.
Well, they're working away like they're going to be in the race, and they have to do that. This will determine if he will race tonight in the 09.
Corey Stott owns this car, involved with Andy, trying to get him some experience here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series.
First lap's not showing as he's being compared to the car that he has to beat to get into this race.
See there, he's about almost 0.4 of a second behind the time it's going to take. So he's going to try to take another lap.
And he was 0.4 exactly off. When it goes up the racetrack a little bit, you can see that really hurt his speed as he tried to exit turn 2.
It doesn't look like it's going to happen for our Andy today. Not going to be able to pick up that much in 3 and 4. It looks like Townley will be able to race when they get that backup car together.
Yep.
And Andy will not have enough oomph to get him in the field tonight. So the field is set, and making only his 8th start of the year, Jamie McMurray picks up his 2nd pole in 2008. Jeff Burton is 2nd, Carl Edwards 3rd, Joey Lagano 4th. So it is Ford, Chevy, Ford, Toyota. Clint Bowyer, our points leader, is 5th, with Harvick, Ambrose, Blaney, Byers. Jimmy Johnson will start 10th here. Guys, your thoughts quickly on qualifying.
Wow, Jamie McMurray just laid a lap on these guys.
Sure did. Jeff Burton's going to be hard to beat in this race tonight, though, I believe.
Coming up next is NASCAR Now. What a show we should have tonight. We invite you to come back and join us 7:30 Eastern Time. NASCAR Nationwide Series action from Lowe's Motor Speedway. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Once again, congratulations to Jamie McMurray, and so long, everybody, from Charlotte.